Good morning, everyone. The time is 9 a.m., so we'll call the meeting to order. And we have the agenda in front of you, and it was in your package. Any amendments to the agenda? Motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
That the June 9th agenda be adopted as presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. And Nicole, are you there?
I sure am.
Okay. I didn't forget you this time.
Hey, that's good.
We just have you on voice. We don't have you on camera. So if you need anything, just speak in.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, now we have the agenda. Looking for any declaration of conflict of interest with the agenda today. Seeing none, we'll move on. We have two delegations today, Logan Hunt, Dudley and Company LLP, and the Buffalo Lookout Campground. We'll get into those here very shortly, but we have the meeting minutes from the May 26th regular meeting. Again, they were in the package presented. Any questions on the minutes for May 26th? Tim.
Make a motion that the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 26, 2026 be approved as circulated and presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. And the draft public hearing minutes from May 26, again, they were in the package. Any questions on those minutes? For motion to accept the public hearing minutes, Darren.
Oh, sorry, I gotta share the mic. That the minutes of the public hearing meeting held on May 26, 2026 be approved and circulated as presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we're down to our delegations. Logan. There you go.
There we go. I was already on. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do a very quick, brief overview of the financial statements that we have, and then I'll be here to answer any questions. I know there was a few different things that happened this year, so I'll try and touch on those. And then if you have any questions, I'll do my best to provide an answer for you. So just in summary, the financial statements this year showed an accrual deficit of $752,000 compared to the budgeted surplus of $3.03 million. The main reason for this variance had to do a lot with the revenues being lower due to development delays, due to lack of sewer capacity, along with there was also $500,000 budgeted for the RIRG grant project, which I believe was pushed off into 2026. The expenses were pretty much in line. I think they were about $35,000 to $40,000 compared to budgeted. So that amount was pretty similar. So it was just the deficit of revenues that caused the difference between the budget and the actual. One thing of note on Schedule 13 of the financial statement, the financial statements information from the prior year was restated for two different reasons. The first reason was for an unrecorded prepaid expense. So this had to do with a large gravel crush that was done over a period of 2024 and 2025. And where this kind of came into fact is you guys had paid roughly about 50% of the, or 55% of the costs in 2024, but the amount of gravel that was actually generated at that point was only about 30%. So there was just that additional cost that should have been kind of set up as a prepaid expense so that the proper cost per yard of the gravel going forward once the whole project was completed was done. So that was just kind of adjusted this year so that the amount was properly shown. And this has resulted in about a $250,000 reduction in expenses in 2024. And that was partially because one of the invoices that was paid right at the end of the year of 2024 was expensed instead of put to this prepaid expenses to carry it forward to the next year. The second restatement was a little bit larger. So this was to move the capital grants that have been paid to the WCRM 158 Wastewater Management Authority Board. So these are all the cash calls that have been paid over the past 4 years, I believe, 4 or 5 years, and for the ongoing project that they have. The reason that these were restated was because the basically it's from discussion with administration and past information from past financial statements. The project at the completion in the past had always been capitalized in the RM's books. So at this point, basically 50% of that project is for the RM and 50% is for the town of White City. Now, showing it as an operating grant every year, or a capital grant, sorry, shows the accrual deficit of, in this year, for example, I think there was about $3.5 million in cash calls that were paid out. So this amount was moved from each of the year to show it as capital work in progress because that money is being paid for infrastructure for the RM. I believe the thought was that at the end, when the project was completed, it would come back to the RM and you'd show a revenue of capital grants, which didn't seem to make sense that you'd show these huge deficits every year and then show a large revenue when it came back when the project was finished. So this way it just kind of shows a better idea of where that money is going because it's being invested in a capital expenditure and not just being paid out to a third party. So that leads us to the last point that I wanted to talk about. And so that is this year, the audit opinion was qualified. And so this has to do with the WCRM Wastewater Management Authority. So we did some research into this organization that was created through a bylaw between the RMs and the town of White City. And after reviewing the public sector accounting standards, this organization falls under a government partnership. And under the public sector accounting standards, government partnerships are to be proportionately consolidated into the records of each organization. So in this case, some of the criteria for a government partnership is shared control. Both you and the town have 3 members on the board, so that shows that you have shared control. The shared benefits, both residents of both the RM and the town are using this organization to their benefit. And the shared risks, so that's shared risks and funding. So both municipalities are funding this equally based on the operating budget that is paid out, I believe, at the start of the year, and then any capital expenditures minus the grants that are received are provided by the municipalities. So in our eyes, it was pretty clear that this met all the criteria, and under the accounting standards, the only way that we can account for government partnerships is through proportionate consolidation. So this year, because of the timing and the wastewater authority hadn't had their audit done at this point, I believe, so we didn't have the figures to include in this year's financial statement. So we issued the qualified audit opinion, which basically says that except for not consolidating in the wastewater authority, everything else in the financial statements is correct, but this is one area that is not. With a qualified, it's not going to affect any funding or anything like that. It's just that we have to disclose that it's not in full accordance with the public sector accounting standards. And so a question which I'm sure I'll try and answer ahead of time is, why was this never mentioned in the past? So one of the reasons is that the ministry has started to focus in on these non-consolidated entities a lot more. So one of the things even to note is I believe it's 2023, they added another paragraph to their one note, which used to only talk about consolidated entities that were fully controlled and owned by the municipality. In 2023, they added another paragraph underneath, which started to talk about partnerships, and they've started to really put a focus on trying to include all of these organizations that fall under the umbrella of municipalities and should be shown in the records of the municipalities. There's also a little bit of things have, I guess people that are on our side as well, and that's the way it was set up in the past, and we didn't want to change it. So everything was recorded the same way as it was, because that's how it had always been done since it had been set up in the beginning. That's pretty much, I know I said a little bit there, but that's pretty much all I have. So if you have some questions, I'll do my best to try and provide some answers for you.
Anyone have some questions? Carmen?
First of all, thank you, Logan. I'm not a financial person, so it's one of those things where I suffer through audits.
That's understandable.
But I do have some questions. So have there been any changes, and I did sort of try and find if there's been any changes in the accounting standards, that new policies, new things that have come into play 2024 versus 2025, and if you see any future changes coming that will impact us.
There was no changes this year from 24 to 25. There is larger changes that are happening for year end starting after April 2026. So for the 2027, the public sector accounting standards have changed, and the ministry actually, I believe they sent out an email just last week that the whole financial statement template and different reports are all changing starting in 2027. Now, they haven't completely come out with the rules, haven't received the final approval yet or anything like that, so we don't know the full extent of them. But there will be some changes going forward. A lot of it has to do with just the reporting itself and not changing of how things are done. It's just a lot of the reporting and the structure of the balance sheet and income statement and all that is changing. But in the current year from 2024 to 2025, there was actually no changes for the first time in, I think, 7 or 8 years, that there was no new policies that came into place.
My second question relates to the wastewater authority. So you structured, or we've done the state, or you've done the review acknowledging it's not full compliance, but it's based on a government partnership because of the manner in which the wastewater authority was set up originally. Potentially down the road, as it becomes fully operational, I would see it moving to a governance model such that the board is not comprised of White City and RM council members. So what would that do for us? Or like down the road, what implications might there be around that?
So one of the main things to look at that would be, because there's government partnerships and then there's government business partnerships, and those are kind of treated separately. The main thing to look at is kind of how their funding is. So if the wastewater authority is billing all the individually separately and generating all their funds from outside the municipalities, that's one thing that can change how they're shown. Right now, almost all their funding is from grants and the operational and capital grants from the town and the RM. So that's kind of where it falls, is if it's, for example, I believe there's a utility board that runs kind of in this RM, SDL 33. And so they're not considered, even though they were created through a bylaw through the different municipalities, but they don't rely on the funding of the municipalities because they charge all their residents a separate fee and kind of operate separately from any of the municipalities. So I guess going forward, if they were to become self-sufficient from the municipalities and no longer had oversight from board members, that could be something that could change. But I think the majority of it is if they're getting the majority of their funding from municipalities, then they're probably going to be required to be or that would kind of be a form of control essentially because they're not able to operate without that funding. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Does. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
I was just gonna ask, would Taya be part of this discussion then too? Because I guess we're gonna have to have some things changed a little bit with we've got it.
We're going to be meeting with Taya to discuss the financial statements. The wastewater authority audit doesn't usually start. I don't know if it's even started yet. So it's quite a bit behind ours. So if it's going to be consolidated, they will have to plan to have their audit completed much earlier in the year. I think to Logan's point, how the wastewater authority is operating right now means that it needs to be incorporated into our books. But I think we also need to have a conversation with the authority. What is the long-term plan? Because if the long-term plan is for this to actually operate as its own entity, as an actual utility board, I don't know maybe whether we incorporate it now or if we transition it into a more independent board.
Is the wastewater authority on the same fiscal, like a calendar year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nicole, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. It's good information, and I think we'll have to have a broader conversation about the wastewater authority.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions? Well, Logan, thank you very much for your presentation and taking the time out of your day to come out and talk to us.
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we'll go to the Buffalo Lookout presentation.
Do we need to do do we need to acknowledge or do a motion around that?
I think it's part of, is it now? Or is it part of your report?
I had it on the agenda right after the delegation.
Oh, you did. Okay, sorry.
No, no problem.
Okay.
So I can do that.
Yeah.
That the audited 2025 financial statements and summary financial statements prepared by Dudley and Company LLP Chartered Professional Accountants and presented to council by the auditor be approved. Do I do all of it? Thank you. That we authorize the Reeve administrator to sign the management representation letter, the management's responsibility letter, and final approval letter, and further, that in accordance with Section 185, subsection 3 of the Municipalities Act, we acknowledge administration will publicize the 2025 audited financial statements and the auditor's report on our website and have copies of the synopsis available at the RM Municipal Office once the final audit deliverables are received.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Sorry, now if you come up there, please.
And then you can turn it.
Okay, great.
Just
Hello all.
give us your name, please. And
Hi, my name is Kenny Tran, and this is Susan New, and we are owner and operator of the Buffalo Lookout Campground that has been here for quite a long time. The reason why we're here today is we're kind of an urgent request for help from the city council, as well as guidance as to where we are coming from. We took over Buffalo Lookout roughly about 5 years ago through All Right Plumbing and Heating, and we've been operating the campground for the last 6 years. What happened in the past was on September of last year, what happened is the old well collapsed. With that happening, the old well collapsed and all the sand kind of fell into our water system. So we were in urgent need of support. So what we did was we tried to drill a new well after this period of time onto our land. The old well was producing 30 gallons to probably 40 gallons per minute of water. And now the new well that we have spent over 30,000 to drill on our property is only producing 5 gallons of water. With that said, the water is not so great. It's potable and it's okay to drink. But what we are is we've been there, like the operations of Buffalo's been there for 50 years. We've been in operation for the last 5 years. We have kind of exhausted all our means of support as to where we need to go with this. Our solution right now and our request from you, City Council, and everybody else is if we can obtain city water from the RM. We understand that there is a line that is close to Redhead equipment, and we have probably a distance of 400 meters to get city water to our well. We obviously have a line, a 2-inch line that can run straight to our old system there. Buffalo Lookout right now is in kind of financial need right now. We're willing to work with the city and try to expedite this as soon as possible. We've been out there for the last 5 years. We have great clientele. We have people moving. Actually, today we have a group from Quebec that come for the last 4 years, and they're a biking group, and they just love Buffalo Lookout. And we are kind of nationally known as the stop between here and people heading out to Banff and everything like that. We typically, in a good year, we have close to 1,000 sites out there and just people coming through and not. So what we are requesting from the city of the RM of Edenwold is guidance or help to expedite our needs for city water as soon as possible. This will help us out from getting, have more consistency of pure water. Not only that, it's just that, give the campers a better experience at Buffalo Lookout, which promotes the city. And with those campers, they all come here, they spend money, and they enjoy like the small town of White City here. And if there's any questions, please let me know.
Questions for our presenter, Karen?
I do. When you had your new well drilled,
Yes.
your well driller, was there no guarantee or whatsoever? Like if it's non-potable now when you have 5 gallons versus 30, was there not an agreement made with that well driller before that?
There was an agreement made with that well driller. The 5 gallons was running, and then what we did is added another $30,000 worth of RO systems and current drums inside the office. But what happened was that well right now is producing a lot of silt sand, and now that current well the new one that we just drilled, is producing so much sand that it's not good. So we're filtering out the sand right now currently, and it's a daily routine and a daily work for us right now that it's just not able to keep up with the amount of people we have. Like right now we're falling into our busy season, and 5 gallons is not sufficient even with the water tanks that we're holding inside. right now. And the well driller that we are dealing with is because it was such a rush because we literally had no water. We are trying to get him to return and fix the well, but he tried, but he just can't do it right now. The silt sand is something he can't figure out why it's falling in.
Did he have a guarantee of some sort when you hired him?
No,
For
he
your-
did
for
not
your
have
well?
a guarantee. Susan, speaking here.
So when you turn the page 4, the map, so there's some map, like the left side is a Red Hat. The right side is our Buffalo Lookout camping ground. In the middle, there is a farmer ground. So our old well is not located our property. It's located between Red Hat and the farmland on the board. So it's far away from our land. Why? I guess, we just guess, said maybe 50 years ago, why they choose that far from our land? Because drilling company told us our land not have enough water source. And then when when our well collapsed, we approached the Red Hat to ask we can drill another new well to there. We approached a couple of times to them, but we didn't get any response. So first, then we have to drill the new well in our property, but the water source is not good. And then there are some like a drilling record shows even from like a long time ago, and a couple of drilling records shows the water resource is not good in our land. But we try to drill in Red Hat, but we don't get the response, and we don't get the approved. So then finally, eventually we end up in our land. And then, so right now the well volume only 16% of our old well. So if we cannot connect the city well, city water, so keep drilling the new well. So I don't think in our land it doesn't work, but in other land we don't get the approved. So that's the, so, and also I want to add, like there is a line from our old well to our new well. So there already existing line and even connected to the closer to the city water line. That's my point I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for our presenters? Carmen.
Oh, there we go. You had mentioned, so thanks for coming to council, first of all, I appreciate that. You had mentioned that you've obviously put in a lot of money into this, and you alluded to being in a bit of a financial situation with the current forecast. In the event that you were able to connect to this water connection, appreciating that I don't think we know the cost of that. I don't know if, or do you know a cost of what that is?
We have a rough estimate as to what the cost is. It's roughly in that $60,000 to $80,000 range right now to connect city water to our land. We are a benefit where we do have the old well line where we could connect, as Susan was just pointing out, that line has sufficiently like dropped the price a little bit, and we are capable of doing that.
So that's within your financial.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then cooperative is IM to do our best. Yeah, we are ready to, and we know that.
And we do understand that this does take time because we have like, a lot of things to apply for in regards to, with the water security system and everything else, and with you guys. But we ask for your help if you guys can try to expedite us, because us getting city water would be completely a game changer for us. It gives us consistency of our water for our customers, gives us consistency of payment for, the RM, where we'll be paying for water for you guys, like, from you guys. And it just gives us more consistency for next year, showing that we can give a better experience for all the campers that are coming through.
So in the meantime, because it will take time for
Yes.
for whatever the solution is to happen, and you say you don't have enough storage capacity in your facility now, what can you do to ensure that? Can you add more storage, temporary storage, or?
We are maxed out on our storage right now, and it's working. It's just that we are constantly fighting with cleaning out the water on a daily basis. The storage capacity is sufficient right now. We have 4 huge tanks that are 300 liters per tank. So we have 4 of them, and that is occupying the campers' needs for going to the bathroom as well as their water needs. But we are having problems in regards to watering the lawn and everything like that. We can't do that right now so much. We're trying to preserve as much water as we can before watering the grass and everything. So the appearance of, Buffalo is still good, but with thank God we have some rain. So I'm actually praying for rain so we don't have to actually use our own water to water the grass. But we're holding back on watering the grass, just making sure that the customers are taken care of first. But we are holding ourselves right now, and we understand that it is a process of time. But what we're asking here is if we can expedite that time so we can use proper water for the clientele that we have out there.
So just one thing I'll throw out there is I live out of town here, and we had our well when we drilled it was 100 and I think it's 180 feet deep. We had the same issue with silt infiltration. It was terrible. So what they ended up doing was raising the pump at the bottom by about 6-7 feet, and it solved the problem.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there.
We did try to lift up the pump, and right now we drilled the first drill on our land, because the reason why we did not drill on close to the old pump was obviously that's not our land, right? It's on city property of RM. Like Susan was saying, that it is far out, closer to Redhead equipment, and which is roughly, I would say, probably 300 meters away from us. But we did not want it to infringe on, the city water, because we didn't have the rights to. The day that we lost our well that collapsed, we had to drill on our property. Our property is like, we did raise the pump, and we tried every means. We have spent numerous, couple of guys out there to try to figure out the system. Raising the pump did not work too. We're still getting a lot of silt sand in there. Yeah.
One question I've got, when was that line put in to Redhead? How long ago?
The line, I'm not sure when Redhead got water, but the line that we have that's right near Redhead, which is 400 meters away from the city line, our line has been there for roughly, I think, 25 years now.
My only concern would be, how good that line is.
I've been going down to that well quite often, and the line is, it is a plastic line. It's a 2-inch line, and it is still pretty strong right now, because we also try to find the line, obviously, to try to connect that line to our system on our land. And it is roughly sitting about, it's not actually 8 feet, it's probably about 12 feet underground. So that does help out with the frost line. We are by far, because we thought it was 8 feet underground, we kept on digging, there was no line. We actually found that it was probably 12 to 14 feet underground. Yeah.
Logistics way, Clark, as far as we go, to be able to supply them and everything?
Yeah, so there's a few steps that we'd have to undertake first. One is registering easements in order to extend the water line from where it is to their property. There's also a bit of I don't know if it's some misdocumentation from when the Redhead water line was put in, but the easements registered to the Redhead water line aren't in the RM's name. So we have to undertake the process of transferring interests from Redhead to the RM. It's a little bit of documentation housekeeping. And then the next step would be getting an engineering company in to do a detailed design on the connection. We have to make sure that, you know, the amount of water that they're using is not going to impact Redhead's service in terms of how much flow and pressure they have. They have fire suppression systems in that. But until we take a look at it, we won't know if, again, they need more storage on their site to pressure up their water system, or if a direct connection would be adequate. And it's a 6-inch line. Like my guess is that it provides adequate flow for both users. But we still have to undertake that and then have some detailed design drawings done so that we could submit a permit to construct to the Water Security Agency. Go through, you know, the tender period process, hire a contractor, and get them mobilized onto site. So that's, you know, several gates in the process. But I guess the discussion centered today is kind of who takes on what responsibility, both in terms of the project management and execution of it, as well as financially who's paying for it and when.
One other thing I was going to, I've got a farm too, and our well is good, but some of the neighbors, they've got 3 and 5 gallons per minute. So again, extra storage, and because your property is mostly utilized in the summertime, to look at maybe getting a, you know, big tanker or something that you could continually keep dumping water into might be another alternative too. With the silt problem, that's how do you just manually clean out the silt then, or?
So basically what we have for the silt problem right now is we have 4 filters that are filtering out the silt currently right now. We do have 4 tanks that are 300 liters per. We're filling them up daily. And to be honest, some days, obviously the weekends are the busiest time, is where we do utilize all 4 tanks. And during the weekdays, it's not so busy. So therefore, we're utilizing maybe 1.5. So we are keeping up with that water supply that is needed for that. But at the same time, we're also kind of holding back on, you know, watering the lawn and making sure the place is pristine and in all aspects and stuff. We do understand that like we are maxed out for capacity for that
That's
holding.
indoors though, correct?
I'm sorry?
Those tanks are indoors?
Yes, they're inside the office.
So what would, one of my suggestions would be, why not have something outside that you could tap into just to give you extra capacity that you could be doing, you know? And who knows, you can maybe rent some type of tanker or something that can sit out there and you know, keep filling it.
Just for the summer, you're suggesting? Yeah. Like right now, we are sufficient, right? We are holding our own right now, and we're trying to, but like what our request here today is, we wanted to eliminate this problem, just make it easier for us, right? We're willing to be putting out the money for the operations and, you know, the connections and everything like that. What we're asking is like, we just need, you know, the guidance from you guys and the approval from you to get city water. Like we don't, like for the future of Buffalo, we want the people to have a great experience, and we don't want to be worrying about, you know, the quality of the water that we have, right? Buffalo has just a tremendous amount of followings that we have right now, and we just don't want to hinder that. And this year with people having boiling the water and everything like that, and it's just not making us what we are used to be.
And I was trying to make is just that in the interim, you know, and as Clark said, it's not going to be instant. We're gonna try our, you know, we've got a whole bunch of hoops that we're going to have to jump before we can you know, approve this type of a structure and everything. So
yeah, in the interim right now, we are okay. We are okay. We appreciate that. We are okay right now, but we ask, you know, if any possibility that we can expedite this as fast as possible.
How
So
deep
you're-
did they go for your well when they dug it?
The new well actually went 110 feet deep. And then I remember pulling out, because I did replace the old well, because what would happen was the old well's pump was replaced roughly about 4 years ago. And I think we had a little bit of sand that actually blew out the pump. When I pulled out the old well close to Redhead and to replace the pump, I pulled it out and it was probably about 50 feet deep. And that was the well that was producing over probably 30 to 35 gallons per minute. Then shortly after that, we had to replace that pump. I think it was 4 months after that, replacing the new pump. And then I was just like, well, that doesn't make sense. And we couldn't figure out why. And then on September 20th, I believe that was the date, the third pump that was going in there, that's when it totally collapsed. And that's when we noticed that everything inside that pump was more metal than anything. So then we found fragments of metal, knowing that obviously the well collapsed.
To your old casing, was it steel?
Yes, the
Okay.
old casing is steel, right? And back in those times, I know that was the way to go, but obviously that's not the way to go now. So obviously in the new well right now, we are plastic, but the old casing was completely steel. We're fix that.
Okay, so when they've drilled your new one, tried to drill your new one, did they give you a graph for your water table?
Yeah, they did give us a water table. We did find water at about 45 feet. We did find water about 45 feet there.
But yeah, there should be. Did they give you a graph though? It should show a chart where your graph will be
No,
where
no.
you got water from
No,
here
no.
to here.
No, they did not give us a graph. Like we were on emergency life support during that time, and the well blew. We had no water. We had like 15 campers there, and we had to try to produce water as fast as we can. So the only guys that were able to do it was Rebel Drilling from Weyburn. They came out and started the process like within like 48 hours, and we try to do it as fast as we can. And we did produce water enough to carry. And we also, just to note that we do have a house on there who is also a resident, and he's renting out the home there too. So that was another concern. That's like one of our main concerns during that time, was getting enough water to them. And Rebel Drilling was the one that did the process, but obviously
I think most of the well drillers have those charts, and if you reach out to them and find out if they've got that chart to get a copy of it. Yeah.
yeah,
they-
that would
they
be
have to
nice.
supply,
Thank
'cause
you.
you paid for that, so.
Yeah. And with that said, like just to let you know, this is our first time. Like I've never drilled a well before, and all I want was to find water. It was like finding oil, but so we didn't know the process, but we knew what we needed to do just to get water to our place, and that's why we're kind of in dire straits right now. And that's why we're also here, is because we really don't want to deal with these well issues no anymore, and just to have more consistency for our business for the future, because we're going to be there for the next 50 years. Just to have that consistency for the future, we want to have city water to have that consistency for our customers.
So do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I've just been having some technical difficulties here on my end, but so just to clarify, you're asking us to send a letter or request the city of Regina to expedite and work with you to get water, city water line. Is that what you're asking?
Not the city of Regina, but the RM.
Okay, you want to connect to the RM.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just have had a glitch here.
Yeah, not a problem, Nicole. What we'll do is I'm looking for a motion to have our engineering department research the possibility of hooking into Redhead's line, doing the appropriate steps that are required, and maintaining contact with you to let you know the steps. As our engineer has said, there's several steps that we would have to go through to even see if it's possible, if that line that is at Redhead would supply both them and your needs on it. Carmen?
So is that the one that's in the report that Clark's created?
Yes.
Okay. It's a long one, but it is Stan's division.
And just to note that we're only open during the summer, so we're not using much water throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness you had lots of rain.
Yes, that's what's helping our grass look green right now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I can read it. Okay, I can do that. Whereas Buffalo Lookout Properties, Inc. have requested a connection to the RM's municipal water distribution system through a water line extension. And whereas the RM of Edenwold 2026 budget does not have provision for a water line extension, and you're going to owe me, Stan. And whereas Buffalo Lookout Properties, Inc. have requested assistance from the RM to advance the water line extension and connection, therefore, be it resolved that the RM Council approve in principle a water connection to the Redhead water line for the Buffalo Lookout Campground with the following conditions. 1, the RM undertake a transfer of interest on title for the existing water line easements encompassing the Redhead water line and add the Redhead water line to the RM's permit to operate. 2, Buffalo Lookout Properties, Inc. enters into a water line construction agreement with the RM for the extension from the Redhead water line to service the Buffalo Lookout Campground. 3, Buffalo Lookout Properties, Inc. be solely responsible for project execution of the water line extension. And 4, Buffalo Lookout Properties, Inc. be solely responsible for all costs associated with the water line extension.
Thank you. I know that's a long-winded explanation, but basically what we're asking is council to pass a motion to have, as I said, our engineering department start undertaking the necessary steps to determine if and when we could hook into the line that is at Redhead on it. And they'll keep in touch with you as to the steps.
Thank you very much. That's what we came here to do, and we like to thank you for everybody's time here and just listening to us and listening to our sad story.
Yeah. So it's just questions, discussion on the motion? All in favor? The motion is carried. So like I say, Clark, will you be the point of contact?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been in contact so far, so we'll just we'll
Okay.
continue on. We'll start pushing the project forward.
Perfect. So we'll do what we can to help you out for sure.
I'd like to thank everybody for their time here.
I just have a comment. I think in the meantime, if I was you, I would reach out to that well driller because I think he's failed you. Like he's failed you in what you paid him to do. I think there's a problem there.
Thank you. We completely agree with that. We have tried to contact him. He did come out. And you know what? We understand that we are new at this, right? And I think he understood that we were new at this. And I think now looking back on the project, we did try to contact numerous people that day that the well blew, and everybody was giving us a timeline of months and months ahead. He was the only one willing to come out and start the process as soon as possible. We do realize what we've done with him, and we have called him numerous times as to it's time for him to like check what's going on with the well. Let's relook at this problem and everything like that. And he is just non-compliant. So that's where we're at with him. We spent $30,000 with him already, and I know that's a lot for a well after we experienced that. So it was, to be honest, that was the the worst day of our lives. It was one of those days where not only did we were drilling a new well, his truck actually hit my truck and hit me. And this is not a sad story and stuff. My dad died that day too, and the sewer system got clogged that day. And so we were unhooking the sewer system and it blew on me. So like it was one of those days, guys. That's where we're at on that day. So it all happened that day and it was probably one of the worst days of our lives. So and it was and that was on September. So that's how I know the date so well. So so that was the day that we dealt with all those problems. So yeah.
Oh, sorry. About the drilling company, I want to add more some sentence. Because we still keep encounter the problem, so we call him back and he try to do some wash, but it doesn't work, help too much, and he keep beating us. So and we said we even want our money already paid back. So that's I said if we working like this way, we may have a more trouble. You make more money. Kind of we want like a long-term solution, not the keep drilling well anymore. Like this is paying for the whole season. Thank you.
Like a proper well would be a permanent solution. I mean, I live on a farm too. I've had a well for 35 years, never had any trouble. Other than, your basic upkeep or a pump. So that's where I'm saying like this company failed you guys because you should have water.
Yes, that we know very much so, and we appreciate, thank you for your help and stuff. And I think right now, looking at the system, the only place where we could find sufficient water at 30 gallons per minute would be close to the old well. But that land, and that's the reason why we requested help from Redhead Equipment, was we needed their approval to go and drill on their land to find that water. I believe that the reason why another well guy that came by, the reason why he said that the well is so far away from us is due to the fact that that's where the water is. There's not much water on our land, he was saying, looking at the schematics of it.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in. It was a very informative presentation. And as we said, our engineering department will begin looking into this and be in contact with you. And if you have any questions, just contact Clark.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, Sarah, we're on to the list of accounts.
So throughout the check section, there's several rebates for the leafy spurge program and the gopher control program. Check 5863 to KTI Limited for the raw water meter. This is within the water capital project budget of $14,000. We have an EFT payment to Double K Excavating for the Balgoni Waterline Relocation Project, and currently the project is sitting at $328,000 out of $385,000 budget. In the proposed EFT payment section, we have a payment to Esri Canada. This is our annual subscription for our GIS software. We have a dust control payment for Fort Distributors, and the total of $133,000 is within budget of $195,000. We have a payment to Hillman for the IT upgrade in the council chambers, and this still falls within budget of $75,000 for the project. We have line painting to Line West Limited, and this is within the budget of $85,000. And then to the Southeast Regional Library, this is our second and final installment of our 2026 library fees. And then on the credit card payment report, we had a couple payments related to the 2018 Castleton trailer. And then on the second page, we have a few annual payments. So we have our social media scheduling tool to Social Pilot. We have our Envato subscription and then our annual geocaching subscription.
Thank you. Looking for a motion so we can discuss further. Stephen,
That the list of accounts consisting of check number 5848 to 5867, EFT 1029 to 1030, other payment numbers 135 to 150, credit card payment number 10 to 11, and proposed EFT payments totaling $630,136.62, plus May 17th to the 30th, 2026 payroll totaling $69,335.54 be approved for payment.
thank you. Questions for on the motion? Questions for Sarah?
I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, Nicole.
The EFT fraud payment to the lawyer, was that still relating to the fraudulent transaction?
Yes, that is legal fees that we are trying to recoup the EFT outstanding fees. So there's a lot of work happening in the background between our lawyer and the lawyers of the financial institutions involved.
Wow. Where are we at with what this whole incident costs our ratepayers?
This is the only legal bill we've paid to date for that.
And it's still ongoing, or is it finished?
We're at a point right now where we're deciding whether it is a good idea to proceed pursuing this. We are out about $115,000 still. So I'm not sure if it's worth, if we do an evaluation of our likelihood of recouping. So the challenge is that there's not a lot of case law around these situations. So we don't really have a good idea of what our success rate would be in a court.
I know that we have a new Lexcom that looks after us now, but this is all, it's cost the ratepayers money, it's cost a lot of time, and at some point in the near future, I would like to have like a session with council about some lessons that we've learned. Think it's important considering it's costing a lot of money. And I would like to request that we do that in the future because I still have a few things that I would like to discuss with council about this.
Okay,
It
thank you.
didn't need to happen. Yeah, it just didn't need to happen.
I do have a question, Sarah, with regards to the second item, 5849. That refund payment, what's that regarding?
We received a lump sum payment in advance of completing and having authorization to do LaFoIP requests. So we're returning that lump sum payment, and then we've requested the actual billing amount specific to each LaFoIP file.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the motion? Comments? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Down to number 8, bank reconciliation.
Okay, so we have the May 31st bank reconciliation. So now we're down to just our operating account. The previous month had the CIBC investment. So our long-term investment with CIBC matured on May 25th of this year. The original investment of $2 million and the associated interest of $345,000 was transferred to our main operating account, as administration's cash flow analysis showed the liquidity was necessary for ongoing capital projects over the next few months. So we had $1 million that was invested and returned 21.09% over 2 years. And then the other $1 million that was invested in a slightly different portfolio returned 13.34% over 2 years. We're going to continue monitoring our cash flow on an ongoing basis. And I just wanted to note that our operating account is earning interest at a rate of prime minus 1.85%, which is 2.6% currently. And we are being quoted about 3% on short-term GICs. So there's minimal difference between our return on our operating account and the GICs while holding the funds in our operating account that we need for the liquidity on our ongoing projects. And as for the bank reconciliation, there's no unusual reconciling items for May, just outstanding deposits and checks.
Looking for a motion? Stan?
That the May 2026 bank reconciliation be acknowledged as presented.
Thank you. Questions for Sarah on this? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Sorry. Okay, it's now 10 a.m. We're going to go into the public hearing portion of the meeting. That's, well, I thought. Oh, sorry. Wrong page. Yeah.
We'll have a break though.
Okay. Okay. Down to number 9, finance report.
Okay, so this is just the financial reporting for May. On the revenue side, we collected development charges, contribution to the Range Road 2185 upgrade per the servicing agreement for $55,000. We received back our 50% of the wastewater connection fees for 21 residential lots, $153,000. We had interest on our cash accounts of $14,000, and then the interest on those long-term investments, as I mentioned, was $345,000. On the expense side, we purchased the 2026 Sheltie rotary cutter for $52,000. We continue to pay for the Belgoni waterline relocation project, $46,000. The Bridlewood ASA water project, $30,000. We had our wastewater loan payments, $99,000. And I'll just note they had missed collecting the payment for April. So this was payment for April and May. That's why it's more than usual. And then the South Plains Road sewer project, $168,000. And then for the expense items over budget, I'll just highlight the new items for the month. So our IT equipment, less than $5,000. It's currently sitting at $4,000 over budget. And that's because we have more IT equipment required for our new staff than was expected. This budget overage will be managed through our general government operating budget and funded through general revenue. On the fire hall maintenance, it's $3,000 over budget. There was a new water heater and roof repair that was not anticipated, and this will be managed through the fire operating budget. And then the water facility repairs is currently $3,000 over budget, and that's due to the water treatment plant distribution pump number 2 repair that was not anticipated, and this will be managed through the water operating budget. Looking at the equipment and machinery repairs, it's currently at $149,000 of $303,000 budget, which is about 49%. So that's slightly above expectation for 5 months of 42%. And then on the statement of financial position side, our cash balance is healthy and expected to cover until we start collecting taxes and other fees for the year. Our municipal taxes receivable decreased month over month due to collection of an additional 22% of the outstanding balance since the end of April. Our utilities receivable and other accounts receivable decreased as well, mainly due to collection of the remaining utility billing from Q1. And then, as I mentioned, that long-term investment matured during May, and so that's no longer on the balance sheet.
Thank you. Looking for a motion so we can discuss. Karen.
That the statement of financial activities and statement of financial position for May 2026 be accepted as presented.
Thank you. Questions on the motion? Questions for Sarah?
If you go down where you said that there's $3,000 repair to the water facility is $3,000 over budget. So now this is 5 months into the year. So does that mean any further repairs to the water facility is going to accumulate for the next 7 months? So we could be drastically over budget.
Yeah, on that line item specifically, but we're hoping to manage that within the water operating overall.
That's what I was wondering, if that's just one one line item or?
Yeah,
is it-
so for this, the over budget section, this is like just very specific accounts we're highlighting. There's no entire like section of the budget that we're seeing a big overage on.
Other questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. Tim?
Make a motion, we have a 15-minute break.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order, and Rod, you're up.
All right, good morning.
Or sorry, Clark.
That's okay.
Yeah,
We're both pretty good at it.
yeah.
I'll just give a short update on the past couple weeks in Public Works. So we have now completed line painting on the paved roads, both Emerald Park and some of the access roads in and around the area. Weed spraying has also been completed in Emerald Park and the rural subdivisions in between windy days, which has kind of been tough to schedule over the last little while. We didn't have that done by our own forces. We hired our weed inspector to do that. Our operators weren't able to get licensed in time for the spring dandelion season, so we'll still be undertaking that licensing moving forward, but had to hire that out in the interim. We've also completed almost all of the small pothole repairs in the area for our paved roads. The large ones are going to be handled by contractors. We just don't have the capability to do so those will be undergoing this June, kind of July. In the rural, we've completed our first application of dust control. So mag chloride's been applied for everyone that has applied for it. Last week, we spent the week prepping 624 for the shingle site. And yesterday, we started hauling shingles to that site. So we're expecting that to be complete in the next 2-3 days here. Civic addressing signs we're expecting to start going in this week into next week once the locates are done. ATS traffic's doing those. We had a surprise inspection from Water Security Agency at our water plant. We had only one non-compliant issue, which we knew was coming up. It was related to reporting. We had missed a weekly back tea sample back in April, so that one was the only issue that showed up on that report. And then end of this week, we'll be prepping for Rock in the Field Day coming up on Saturday.
Okay. Looking for a motion to accept the Public Works report as presented. Have questions afterward. There.
He keeps charging me to use his mic though.
Yeah.
That the Public Works report be accepted as presented.
Thank you. Questions for Clark on the report?
How many dust control sites were there this year?
Just under 70. 69, I think.
Two questions. The shingles, are they going to go on, what's the name of that road? Heading east out of Pilot Butte, that test site? Are they going to be applying?
Yeah, that existing test site at South Subdivision. Yeah, I believe we still have a little bit to work up there. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to add a little bit.
Yeah, there's still a few sites that we need to kind of rework, as well as I think Kishmal's another one that we had planned to do shingling on as well.
With shingles?
Yeah.
Okay, because those ratepayers over there keep at me, so I just wanted to give them a report. And another thing, Rod, when you guys go out and fill the potholes like you did the 2183 up by Rock Point?
Yeah.
Is there a certain size that you don't fill? Because there's a lot like on the north end there,
Well, if they're the size of the cup, we won't, but typically we fill them anyway, because our material is quite small, so it doesn't take much, so.
Because there's quite a few like small ones like this size that weren't done. Now, whether they just missed them.
Yeah, they just missed them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
Okay.
This week, yeah.
Great.
Clark, are the summer students going to be available for Friday for prepping the shop?
Yeah. Yeah, we have them scheduled to come, as well as a few other Public Works employees. And then I think we're scheduling some people available for Saturday as well to help out. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just gonna mention to the rest of council and stuff too, the 624 with the shingles, I'd say we're probably about a third of the way done, something around there. That it's looking really good. The boys have been packing them all down and stuff, and got excellent looking grades and stuff as far as it should shed the water really good. They had the packers all out doing them all up and everything, and actually my son and myself, we also did our driveway with it too, and we're finding there's a lot of it doesn't come out of the truck very good, and so we did a lot of bucketing. That we hauled a lot, and in fact my wife was using a wheelbarrow and a shovel to do some of it, which I kept telling her don't do it, but whatever. And yeah, no, so I'm so far so good. Looking, and I would imagine the more traffic we have driving on it, the better it'll pound down a little bit more and stuff too. But so far so good. I've had quite a few ratepayers reaching out and doing a thumbs up with it anyway. So yeah, it looks good.
Just a question for you, Rod. As far as picking up the stuff from A1 Rentals on Friday, what time are you guys scheduled to pick it up?
We'll go there just like around 8 o'clock or just after 8.
Okay.
We'll take the 2 1-ton trucks to go get it and a trailer if we need to. So.
Okay, yeah. Sweet. Thanks.
We'll get the goat pen fence panels out there too. So.
Okay.
Are those actually, I thought they were actually out at the rural shop. Are they not? The goat pen?
I think the panels are in town here. I don't know if they're out there yet or not. Yep.
So
the normal panels won't work.
Just our portable corrals that we had for livestock. I noticed it's not at the Balgoni shop anymore. Is it at our rural shop there, or where are they?
They're behind the urban shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 17 panels that are 8 feet by 6 feet high.
Yeah. But they're not designed for goats, so it would have to. You've got the construction ones, right?
That's what they are, construction ones.
Yeah, he's wondering about the corral. Like we had corral fencing for when there was like accidents where, livestock would be at large. We would kind of mobilize and kind of keep them in place until.
Yeah, I think it's the same fence. So like they're not.
It's got its own trailer and everything, and they're all set up. There's a head gate and everything in it. The whole thing, and it was parked out at the Balgoni shop for years, and now I noticed it's not there anymore. So I'm just curious where it had gone, because in an emergency we're going to need it. And if it's not at our rural shop, well, then where is it?
It's at the Balgoni Fire Department, right in front. They made a fence right in front of the fire hall. Right in town, yeah. Yeah, it's right. They made
Yes, I was told it was in Balgoni too.
I would suggest it should come to our, because that is our property, and I think it should be out at our rural shop.
I think we decided a couple meetings ago, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was okay. We were actually going to let it stay there. I don't know, maybe Shauna, do you remember? Or did anyone take some notes? I remember having this conversation.
We can recall the meeting. I think, sorry, who's talking? Oh,
it was me, Nicole.
I know. We can recall the meeting. I believe there was just a discussion as to why the corrals were there. I believe they were used by Balgoni Fire, and I believe they just were staying there. I don't know what the other reasons, but we can recall that meeting to see why they were there in the first place, and if a better location would be the rural shop. I doubt it, just because of the fire department needing it for highway accidents, but we can recall.
We have a truck there too, in Balgoni.
Other questions for Clark or Rod?
I've got one for Rod. I know the graders are busy doing the main roads, but after seeding and everything, can the back roads be touched up with all the traffic that's been going down them?
The dirt roads?
The dirt roads.
Yeah, yeah, we were trying to get on, some of the guys were gonna go out today, but it's still too wet, so.
Did you meet with Joe? Rod,
Joe who?
Joe, the Hutterite fellow there?
Oh, yes, I did, yeah. So Joe's got access to his property now. Yeah. He can go south of the bush to get access. He wanted to put a culvert in there, but we can't put a culvert through our road that's going to drain water onto another piece of property without us getting approval from WSA. So there's a long process to that. So we'll have to obtain approval if we want to do that. It does look like whenever they built that road, which was probably 50 or 60 or 70 years ago, they probably pushed in a little bit of dirt in a small little coulee, whatever. But if we put a culvert in there, it's going to erode that farm to the east. I did talk to the landowner to the east, and they put up a fence right on the road shoulder. So I contacted the landowner and I asked him to take that fence down and move it further into the ditch. And I told him, I said, hey, his air seeder is like 36 feet wide, so he needs 36 feet. But they were able to pass through there with their air seeder, even with the fence there. So anyway, I'll talk to the landowner again and just get him to move about 500 feet of fence off of the roadway. So in discussion with him, he started talking about how the road actually goes onto his land further down, and he wants us to move the road. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I said, I'll move the fence myself. So anyway, yeah, good discussions. Yeah. But, he has access and he has room there. We'll take our forestry mulcher out there and we'll get rid of all of the trees in that right of way for that whole half mile, because they're right up against the edge of the road and he won't be able to go down there with a combine sort of thing. So we'll get him some access, but we're not going to put a culvert in. Like,
Yeah, well, no, and you know, I said I don't think we need to, you know, go the whole half mile or whatever. It's just basically that 1/4 is all he wanted to get access to.
yeah, he can just go south of that slough and he can get in there. So we hauled in a couple loads of clay and dumped it in there and we just smoothed it out with the Bobcat. So it's good.
Perfect. Yeah, because I hadn't reached out to him after I talked to you, and I just wanted to double check on it. Good. Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Clark or Rod? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Water report.
All right. Yeah, the only comments on there were just replacement of a raw water valve at the well house, which has now significantly increased our flow into the plant, which makes Rod sleep better at night throughout the summer. So no upset conditions.
Okay, motion to accept the water report as presented. Tim.
That the May 2026 report be accepted as presented.
Any questions on the motion?
So I've just, the one valve was only open a little ways or something, or?
Well, we think that it might have been throttled down on purpose. And because of when we took the top of the valve off, it was broken. The stem was broken, and so it dropped. So when we put the new piece on, we took the old one and stuck it into the valve body, and it was probably about 2 inches closed, is where it was at, sort of thing. So we think it was throttled down. I think they throttled it down. I'm assuming what they did is they throttled it down on purpose because the flow coming out of the well house is around 680 gallons per minute, and our filter can only handle 577. So, but what they didn't realize is that the wells are 6 miles away and they go up and down hills and they take turns. And by the time they get to the plant, where summer's around 520. So it's actually increased now. We're getting close to about 570 gallons per minute into the plant because we put in a 6-inch meter now from the 4-inch meter. So now we're getting more flow. So that just bumped it from 520 to 570. So we're almost right at the peak of what the filter can handle. So we're optimizing our plant good now, but yeah, it It was funny too, because Jason said, he goes, well, I can't turn that valve. He says, it just spins around. And I said, well, for how long? He goes, well, I don't know, 2 years. I was like, yeah, but anyway, problem solved.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, 10.3. Oh, we didn't vote on that? Oh, sorry. All in favor? Thanks, Tim. Yeah. Now we're at 10.3.
All right, so I'm bringing this report to council mostly as an informational item. So in 2025, we engaged an engineering company to do a waterworks capacity assessment. The last one that had been done in 2015, so it was well due. And Water Security Agency and Community Planning had started to have concerns about, did we have enough capacity to service future development? So through the process of assessing the capacity of our water plant, wells, filtration, and storage systems, there are several recommendations in the draft report that we've now received. In advance of this report being completed through the 2026 budgeting process, we had identified twinning the supply line and doubling our filter capacity as urgent needs to be completed. Based on how much water we were being able to bring into the plant, not knowing that it was being throttled by a gate valve. We anticipated that we needed to complete these in order for future development to keep moving forward. So through the capacity assessment, it's now been identified that the filter expansion isn't needed for another 5 years, and the twinning of the supply line isn't needed for more than 10 years. So as these were contemplated in the 2026 capital project section, this report recommends that we table these projects in 2026, effectively removing them from our capital expenditures. Also identified in the report, which we didn't need a report to identify, but our supply well pump number 1 had stopped working. So of our 3 supply wells, we operate 2 at a time. So we still have number 2 and number 3 operating currently. But we do need to replace pump well 1 in the current year in order to have that redundancy, so that if another one goes down, we still have 2 operating, or if we need to service or take one out of commission for any period of time, we can still have full capacity. So it is recommended that the replacement of supply pump well 1 be financed through the Water General Reserve. We have 2 water reserve accounts. One's SAF fees, so that's projects required for development, and we have the Water General Reserve. That one's set up to replace and repair aging infrastructure. So the failure of supply pump well 1 kind of falls into that repair and replace existing aging infrastructure. Supply pump well 2 was put in the same time as number 1. So again, that's one that on the report is kind of contemplated for near-term replacement. But again, with 3 operational, we can kind of wait until it fails and then make the repair and replacement at that time.
Motion? Karen?
I know it's long. Whereas the RM has undertaken a waterworks system assessment to calculate the current and future capacity of the system and identify the timing of upgrades and improvements. And whereas the approved 2026 budget included 2 major water capital expenditures in 2026 for the twinning supply lines and filtration expansion. And whereas the findings of the WWSA indicate the water supply line twinning and filtration expansion are not required until 2031 and 2042 respectively. Supply pump well number 1 is not operational and requires immediate replacement. Therefore, be it resolved that the RM adopt the following changes to the 2026 budget. Number 1, cancel the twinning supply project. Number 2, cancel the filter expansion project. Number 3, add supply well number 1 replacement as a capital expenditure for 2026 with a budget of $135,000 financed through the Water General Reserve account.
Thank you, Karen. What's the time frame for ordering the new pump?
I don't know the lead time on it as of right now. 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. So we're in the 5 to 7 week range now.
Okay. Other questions on the motion?
None other than it's good news.
Yeah, we don't often get requests to cancel line items in the budget. So, okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. Thanks, Rod. Okay, page number 11, planning and development.
This is bylaw 2026-18 for garage suites, the text amendment. Last meeting, we had the public hearing. There was no written and no verbal submissions. Following the public hearing, council directed administration to modify the wording of the bylaw. Karen, if you just scroll down a little bit, thank you. You'll see there in the red font is what we've modified it to read. The garage suite must be located in the rear yard in the Country Residential 3 CR3 district, and either in the rear or side yard in all other applicable zoning districts. So that eliminates the possibility or someone applying to put a garage suite in the side yard in a Spruce Creek, for example, which I think was the direction of council last meeting.
Recommendations, we can talk about the motion. Tim.
At bylaw 2026-18 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2019-20, known as the zoning bylaw, by substituting subsection 5.5.3 be given second reading.
Nicole, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
That, I think you had some concerns about the original wording, and does this one cover up your concerns?
Yeah, it sure does.
Okay. Any other questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. For the given third and final reading, Stephen.
That bylaw 2026-18 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2019-20, knowing as the zoning bylaw by submitting subsection 5.5.3 be given third and final reading.
Thank you. Comments on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. 11.2.
Perfect. So this is New Horizons Business Park Phase 4. So this is bylaw 2026-27. This is to rezone proposed parcels NOPQRST, UVW, and X in the southeast 6 of 1818. So this is finishing off the New Horizon Business Park. This is the final phase that will fit within the quarter section. We are rezoning. They're asking to be rezoned from agricultural to general industrial. Again, it's the same zoning district that is already there in phases 1 through 3. This will create the loop of the internal roadway. Karen, do you want to bring up the plan of proposed subdivision? There was a comprehensive development proposal attached with all the details, including site servicing, traffic, all that fun stuff. And the lots that I read out loud are in the bold dash line. You'll see that the roadway is connected and the quarter section is full after this phase. We do have potential connections to the west on that Horizon Road. If that quarter section ever goes further with future development, there will be a connection point there.
Looking for the motions we can discuss. Karen.
That bylaw number 2026-27, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2019-20, known as the zoning bylaw by rezoning proposed block parcel NOPQRSTU, VW, and X in the southeast quarter of 6/1818 west of the 2nd, extension 4, from agricultural resource to general industrial, be given first reading, and further that we authorize the planning department to proceed with the public notification requirements and schedule a public hearing.
Thank you. Comments, questions on the motion? Carmen.
I just, because I take that highway into the city all the time, it's really cool to see all that development going on there. And it's a very clean looking development. You probably noticed that too, Karen, like everything is being so well managed that it's like, wow, this is impressive. So just feedback for the developer.
Um, those internal roads, Horizon, and what's the other one called?
Opportunity Way.
Opportunity Way. It's strange.
Yeah.
Those become ours.
Yes, once it's through like the warranty period. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I was trying to find it in the report here. When I was reading, I didn't read all 319 pages of it, but I did read some of it. And some of it was to improve relations with White City is one that popped up on me, and it didn't make sense. You know, I could see with, you know, that something to make comments with Pilot Butte, but not with White City. So it almost makes me think that some of it was kind of just painted with the same brush and they just filled in some of the missing blanks. So
It might be because, Tim, in one of the phases of this development, the community planning referred the subdivision application to the town of White City for comment because of the proximity of Saskwater's well that feeds the town of White City. I don't know if they were referred in this phase, but that would maybe be the connection there, Tim.
again, like I say, I was reading it and I'm thinking, what's this about? You know, it just didn't make sense. But I can see, okay, with Saskwater and stuff, there is a bit of a relationship there then. So
Yeah, and just to be clear that once a decision is made on this bylaw today, we will refer the comprehensive development proposal in full to the town of Pilot Butte and provide that public hearing date and time for their comments and concerns.
Thank you. Other comments, questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. 11.3 page.
Okay, so this is a development agreement for conversion of dwelling on parcel A Northwest 271817 west of the second. The property owner is looking to enter into an agreement with the RM as per the zoning bylaw, in which they have an existing dwelling on the parcel and they would like to construct a new dwelling on the parcel. So under our zoning bylaw, we do have a section that speaks to replacement of dwelling, which means that once the new dwelling is constructed, they would have to demolish, remove, level out the site, and we take a performance security. In this case, the property owner is not demoing and removing the existing house off the site. They're going to renovate it and keep it as an accessory building. So remove the living quarters except for like the bathroom and live in the brand new house. So this development agreement has the responsibilities of the property owner, holds the performance security and puts the triggers in when that performance security can be released back. Yeah.
Promotion? Stephen?
That the RM of Edenwold enter into a development agreement with Gary and Lisa Exner for the conversion of a dwelling located on parcel A Northwest 271817 west of the second, and that the Reeve and Chief Administrator Officer be authorized to sign the agreement.
It's important to note that the existing dwelling is a Quonset style dwelling, so they're not changing a house into a shop like a standard house.
and there's been other farms that have actually converted the old houses into garages and stuff too. So it's not a new concept, but no, it's and especially with this situation, it just kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Other comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, thanks, Paige. Down to RM business number 12, Strychnine Stewardship Program.
All right, so this is to seek council's approval to establish a pricing structure for the sale of strychnine administered through the RM's participation in the strychnine stewardship program for Richardson ground squirrels. So due to the increase of administrative requirements, we're looking to add administrative fee along with the cost recovery of the product. So right now, or when we get the product, the base cost per bottle is $18.33. We'd like to charge a cost of $23 per bottle, and that gives an administrative fee of $4.67 on the per bottle. So we're looking for council's approval of that, and the recommended motion is presented.
And so we can discuss?
Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That council approves the establishment of a pricing structure for the sale of strychnine under the strychnine stewardship program for Richardson ground squirrels at the rate of $23 per bottle to support cost recovery of this product, program administration, training, and regulatory compliance requirements.
Comments? Questions? Yeah.
I was just gonna make a comment. I had one ratepayer come up and he was asking when we're going to be getting getting it in, because I guess he took the online course and he said it's, for a farmer, it's pretty easy. So I don't know why I haven't taken it yet. I'm planning on taking it, but he said it was basically you just have to have quite a bit of history and paperwork on it, and you have to do your due diligence on going back and checking your holds and all that stuff and everything. So he said a little bit more paperwork with it and a little bit of groundwork, but as it seemed, he didn't think it was that bad. So,
Stephen,
is it going to be? Where is it going to be stored when you do get it?
At the urban shop.
Couple of things. One is we're going to have a strychnine information stuff at the Rock and Field Day, which is great. A question I have, I guess it's twofold. In terms of coming up with this price point, are any of the other municipalities doing something similar, or?
So when we went out and asked what other surrounding municipalities, some aren't even participating, but the ones that are participating, I don't think there's been any decision on some of the south ones yet. I know there was going to be a request for increasing by 20% the price just to cover that administration fee. And others, I think there's only one that was proposing that, and others were just recouping the costs of the strychnine.
And have we been, thank you for that. Have we been approached by other municipalities? Because we had that with the other discussion about whether or not we're in or not. Have other municipalities reached out to us, given that we probably have more capacity to?
Not at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
And just to be clear, this administration costs, we're expecting that there will be additional overtime hours spent, which is why the administration costs that we're asking for.
When do we see it coming through?
Yeah, we're going to be placing an order. I'm not sure if it's already been placed. The next application window, I believe, is at the end of July, I think is the fall application it starts. So they won't be able to apply now, but we'll have it definitely in stock before the fall.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. 12.2, bylaw court clerk agreements.
All right, so we're looking to get council's approval to enter into the contract agreements for bylaw court clerk services with Carol Clayton and Sylvia Marcia. So the RM requires reliable and experienced bylaw court clerk services to support the administration of bylaw enforcement matters in the arm of Edenwold's bylaw court within the provincial court system. So entering into the formal agreements with both individuals will ensure continuity of service, maintain operational efficiency, and reduce the risk of disruptions to court proceedings. And this contract is just for the year 2026, and we'll renew it if for the next year. Carol has been our court clerk since, I believe, 2021, and she plans to retire at the end of this year. So we've contracted Sylvia to take over from Carol, but Carol will provide training during the year to Sylvia. But we haven't had very many court dates or sittings because we haven't had anything scheduled in our bylaw court. So anyways, we're looking for a motion to sign the agreements.
Looking for a motion? Darren, lean over.
That council authorizes the Reeve and the Chief Administration Officer to execute the contract agreement for bylaw court clerk services with Carol Clayton and Sylvia Marcia, with the authority to approve and sign the final agreement following any non-material revisation negotiated between the administration and the contractor.
Thank you. Questions? Okay, all in favor? Motion is carried. 12.3, Hamlet of Crawford Estates.
So each year, council acknowledges the Hamlet of Crawford Estates AGM meeting minutes and budget. They held their AGM on May 13th this year, and the minutes are attached. Their 2026 budget is based on their 2025 actuals, along with the addition of a $77,000 capital road project that will be financed by their Hamlet reserve account. And that reserve account had a balance of $78,000 at the end of 2025. Administration is also requesting acknowledgement of the Hamlet's municipal tax allocation for 2026 at the recommended rate of 70%, which has been in place since the Hamlet was established.
Okay, motion? Karen.
That we acknowledge receipt of the Hamlet of Crawford Estates annual meeting minutes dated May 13th, 2026, and a copy of their 2026 budget, and further that in accordance with subsection 69-1 of the Municipalities Act, we acknowledge the municipal tax allocation for the organized Hamlet of Crawford Estates is 70%.
Thank you. Questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. 12.4, utility bylaws.
I'm looking to set a record with, I think it's 12 resolutions for this one. So following council's approval of the utility bylaws at the last council meeting, we submitted them to the local government committee for approval. We received feedback from SMB that the effective date of the bylaws needed to be changed. So we're bringing this report to rescind second and third reading of each bylaw and approve the revised bylaws. So SMB requires the specific wording of the rates, charges, tolls, and rents contained in the bylaw shall come into force and take effect on the day of approval being issued by the local government committee. So we've updated that wording in each of the three bylaws. We did analyze the financial impact of having the bylaws take effect, hopefully July 1st for Q3 instead of April 1st for Q2. And we found that utility revenue is estimated to be $7,000 less than budgeted, so not very significant. And we can manage this through the utility operating budget. It's noted that we didn't bring the utility bylaws to council approval sooner in the year, just because we were doing a full utility model review and a general housekeeping review for wording throughout the bylaws, which we couldn't complete until the end of April. And there's been no other changes to the bylaws. So for each of the three, we'll have to rescind second and third and then give second and third on the revised.
All right. Looking for the first motion, Carmen.
Fine. It's all of it, right?
No, just the first one.
Oh, just the first. Okay, cool, good. That resolution number 2026-275 for second reading of bylaw number 2026-20 being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public water utility passed at the May 26, 2026 council meeting be rescinded.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Stan?
That resolution number 2026/276 for third and final reading of bylaw number 2026-20 being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public water utility passed at the May 26, 2026 council meeting be rescinded.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. Karen?
That bylaw number 2026-20, being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public water utility, be given second reading.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
That bylaw number 2026-20, being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public water utility, be given third and final reading.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Bylaw number 2026-21, a bylaw to regulate the operation of a water vending machine. That resolution number 2026-277 for second reading of bylaw number 2026-21, being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a water vending machine passed at the May 26, 2026 council meeting be rescinded.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
That resolution number 2026-278 for third and final reading by bylaw number 2026-21 being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a water vending machine passed at the May 26, 2026 council meeting be rescinded.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried.
That bylaw number 2026-21 being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a water vending machine be given second reading.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried.
That bylaw number 2026-21 being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a water vending machine be given third and final reading.
Any questions on the motion? Clark, while we're at this point, I was wondering why the water vending was closed yesterday.
Yeah, I drove by that this morning too. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask
Okay.
the operator. Yeah.
Any other questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Bylaw number 2026-22, a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public wastewater utility. That resolution number 2026-279 for second reading of bylaw number 2026-22, being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public wastewater utility passed at the May 26, 2026 council meeting be rescinded.
All in favor? Motion is carried.
That the resolution number 2026-280 for third and final reading of bylaw number 2026-22, being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public wastewater utility passed at the May 26, 2026 council meeting be rescinded.
All in favor? Motion is carried.
It's bylaw number 2026-22, being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public wastewater utility be given second reading.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Aaron, you've got the last one.
All right. That bylaw number 2026-22 being a bylaw to regulate the operation of a public wastewater utility be given third and final reading.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. On to correspondence. They were in the package. Any questions on the correspondence? Motion to accept or acknowledge the correspondence as filed. Carmen,
That the following correspondence be hereby acknowledged and filed as per the Emerald Park Fire Department and Pilot Butte Fire Department fire calls May 25th and 27th, 2026.
thank you. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Down to committee reports. Any chairs got any thing to report that we haven't covered in the meeting?
Just a note for the human resources, the council indemnity, a revision came out. I have to go through it, finish going through it, and I'll send it out to everybody for comment once I've reviewed it in the next day or two.
Yeah, if you could do that, it's probably going to be on the agenda for the next meeting. So if you get any, once you've read it, any comments, like Karen said, send them to her. So we're probably going to have one more HR meeting before it comes to council. So any questions, comments, concerns you have on it, please just send it to Karen as soon as you can. Stan, anything from wastewater at all?
We only have our meetings once a month now, so our meeting is not till next week, so I won't have anything to update on that. But Tay is back in working and bringing everything up to date, so we should have a fairly lengthy meeting on the next one coming up. Yep.
Anything else? Tim, do you have anything?
Yeah, there was two. I attended the RCMP meeting last Thursday, I think it was. Again, a good meeting. We didn't have a lot of problems coming out of it and everything. Basically, we're going to try to have somebody attend for the Rock and Field Day. We had made the request and stuff from them, and also had EMO meeting that attended, and it was the motion was brought up to our next meetings because our meetings usually last anywhere from 3/4 of an hour to an hour and a half. If we can make time in there to basically have a bit of a practice tabletop, just to go over and so our next meeting, which is going to be in September, we decided that we're going to have kind of a recreate the event that we had and just do a tabletop on it and have new people organizing it, and then try to to wordsmith where our shortcomings were and how we can improve different things, and it was it's good to practice a lot of this stuff. It also came about the talk of having a regional type facility set up. There was some for, some against. The part of the problem is if an event, say, happened in Le Jord and we have the regional office close to here, it doesn't make sense to have it that far away. So again, the biggest concern was communication. And that's what we found at that last training event, that we had a lot of communication problems. I think some of them are going to get better, but we talked about having maybe a mobile type radio set up that can be activated when we activate an EOC, and have it designed strictly for the EMO. And that way we don't have to reach out to government agencies or whatever to bring us radios, and it's going to take more time to get it all set up and everything. You just have this thing, and if we have a regional EMO activated, then this will be in the battle box, and it'll be going to each one. Again, it was talked about we need to make sure that our battle boxes are up to date, and I'm still planning on getting over here. And we still got to find those charts. I believe those charts are at the maintenance shop there. And I figured on Friday when I'm there, I'm going to try to look for them and see if I can find them, and we'll see where those go, so that they're kept with our battle box. That's the big thing. Yeah, that's it for committees.
Nicole, do you have anything for committee reports?
No, I just wanted to add that also at the meeting, we decided that we were going to test the radios at each of the locations as well. So that was a good idea. And also I just wanted to mention too, with the Rural Rockin' event that I had invited. It's an organization called Salt Haven West Wildlife, and they're a nonprofit wildlife rehabilitation center. So they care for sick, injured, displaced, or orphaned animals. They're a great nonprofit organization, and they definitely need some more awareness. And I know, they'll be a great addition to the event. They're going to have a table set up. And also the pups from the dog rescue are ready to go and join the event as well. And the Lions Club will be there. They will be helping to set up, and they will also be helping to work on Saturday. And they have a lottery license, and they will be selling 50-50 tickets. And that will also go to the dog rescue. It'll be the exact same thing that they did at the Summer Sizzle, except for the dog rescue. So I just wanted to update you on that.
Thank you.
I was just going to expand a little bit on the radio testing. That was one thing that came out of our event, that we didn't request to be on the White Butte 1 and 2 channels. And that's where the repeaters system is set up on. And that was part of the problem that we encountered of not being able to talk to them. And again, I knew about it, but I didn't realize that we had to request to go on those channels. And so that's been kind of drummed into us. One thing that we haven't tried by using White Butte 1 and 2 is in our rural shop to see if we've still have communication issues inside that shop or not. So that's where we want to do some testing on stuff, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe Rock and Field Day might be a good time to try that just to see.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. That was a good meeting. Also, we're going to be changing locations. So this one, the one we just had last week, was at the Balgonie Fire Hall. The next one will be in Edenwold, and we're actually going to test everything there as well. So as we rotate through the locations, we're going to be testing to see, making sure everything works too.
Okay, Darren, roundtable.
Okay, since we're kind of on the topic, I had somebody ask me if our fire department, are we registered as our own, or is it under Pilot Butte, or?
Yeah, we're still registered under Pilot Butte. We have to have, I believe, 19 or 20 members in order to be our own independent fire department. So we're still under Pilot Butte.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, because I didn't know. That's why I wanted to ask that. And then I had another ratepayer ask me about young kids on e-bikes and stuff, and no helmets, no nothing, and they're pretty fast. And she has a concern that something should be posted on the website, about safety and stuff like that.
Do you want to respond to this? Or I mean, there is new provincial legislation that has just been published around regulating e-bikes now. I know, actually, I just found out about it from Al yesterday. So
yeah, what they come under the Vehicles Act. So legally, you have to be 14 years of age to ride an e-bike and be wearing a helmet. It's $150 fine to be under 14, and another $100 if you're not wearing a helmet on it. So that's the rules that are there. I had a call from a ratepayer that's down on Sapphire, and I was going to talk to Clark about it afterward, that coming off the walkway at Sapphire, they're jumping because of that thing. So I nearly hit a child there on it. So we're going to talk about possibly putting a stop sign or something, whether that would help on the walkway or not. I don't know, but I'm going to bring that up with Clark to discuss on it. So there is legislation on them. I don't know if the RCMP are enforcing that or not, but that's technically where it's at.
Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, I was supposed to look into that, and then this ratepayer was asking if something could be posted, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was gonna follow up. Yeah, we'll create some messaging out just to make people aware, because I don't think people are even aware that you're supposed to be 14. And I mean, I don't actually know, are helmets a requirement?
Yes.
They are a requirement? Okay. Yeah, so we'll post that out on our socials.
Yeah, I saw a guy on Avonhurst. I swear he was doing 60K on this bike. He had no helmet, no jacket. Like, I remember wiping out on a pedal bike and losing a lot of skin. And I could just imagine if somebody wiped out doing that kind of speed, they'd be in intensive care. But yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay. Anything else, Darren?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, Tim, for committee reports? Or sorry, I mean roundtable?
Rock and Field Day. I've got a list of stuff that I got to pick up. A couple of questions. For the cream, for the coffee, should I pick up powdered, canned, flavored? What do you want to do? Or all three?
I'd say just get real cream and have the one just
Okay.
coffee cream.
Not have any flavored stuff?
No.
Okay. Okay. No, good. Sugar. I've got, I think there's two cases or two packages of cubed already. I don't know how much we need. Should I get another couple more? That probably should be suffice then.
Yeah, that would be lots, Tim.
Okay. Yeah.
There's actually some, Tim. There's
I'm sorry?
There's packets at the shop I found. So there's lots of sugar. Yeah. No, you don't need to get sugar.
Onions. I had figured 10 pounds of pickled and 20 pounds of fried. Sounds sufficient.
Just so you know, we have increased the number of burgers, like the food we've increased. I don't know, what was the amount of onions last year? Do you remember?
Yes, Councillor Libo bought 50 pounds.
Oh, and you guys cooked up 50 pounds?
Well, we didn't go through that quite that much, but there was quite a few thrown out. But again, maybe.
Oh, so there was actually some fried ones that were thrown out? Oh, okay. I thought we ran out, but that must have been a different event.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Again, the 50 inner defense 50-pound bag is probably as expensive as 30 is going to be. So, I don't care. I'm going to be slicing. I'm going to be crying anyways. I'm going to slice it up. If I slice up 30 pounds or 50 pounds, I can do whatever.
It was just simpler at Costco. Like they had the massive bag, right? So.
Again, I can get the bigger bag, and if we're expecting more people, it's hard to say. I know some of my family and stuff. They've got all different events planned and stuff that weekend. Yeah, this weekend coming up, so they're not going to be attending. But I'm really hoping that we get a really good turnout, and the weather treats us right and everything too. So yeah, but yeah, the rest of it, popcorn, theater spice, candy floss. I'll try to pick up a few extra of that so that and I think I've got the problem with the candy floss machine figured out, so we shouldn't have a problem like last year that it went down on me. And what are you gonna do? It's no machine. So
Is that it, Tim? Yep. Stephen?
No, I got nothing for just fencing for the goats. What is it? It's that industrial, like the small.
Yeah, it's construction fencing. Yeah, like the gaps are like, yeah.
Okay, and that's I'll bring a pallet because I'm gonna have to make a little gate because those are probably 6 feet high, right? I'm guessing. So bring some to make a gate.
And just on the Rock and Field thing, anybody that's bringing coolers, if they could get them there on Friday, would be great. And again, that the more help we have, the better. Rod had said the tables and chairs will show up at 8. So if we get a good turnout, we won't be there all day. Or pick them up at 8. Yeah. So they'll be there by 9:30. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Karen.
Just one thing. Can I add something? Oh, sorry. Just let me know when I can talk.
Yep. You're next after Karen. Okay. Nothing. Okay. Nicole.
Okay. Sorry, I just can't see people's hands. I don't know when people are going to talk. So I just, inject myself here. I was just going to mention, Tim, when you go through the battle box, could you please give me a call? And I would like to go through them with you. I have some suggestions as well.
Anything else, Nicole?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Stan, anything for, no? Carmen?
Just a couple of things. One is there is a cooler in the shed back here. So Lee and I I hauled all the stuff. It's in my Bronco, but there's a white cooler in there that I can bring, but I don't know whose it is. It's the RM's? Okay, cool. Then I'm snagging it for the event. Sweet. Okay, excellent. I'm bringing one. Al, you're bringing one. So we've got the third. Do you want another one? And what about the one for the beer?
Yeah.
Kidding. Okay. The other thing was I just did want to say thank you to all of council and staff in terms of stepping up for helping out with the Rock and Field Day. It was the meeting that we had the other day. It was great to see all the participation and kind of that sense of something that I dreamed about having this event back in the day, and it's come into its own little life. So thank you for that. I did sit in on or dialed into the live stream for White City's council meeting last night. And they will be reaching out around the pump track and presumably through the Culture, Arts, Recreation Committee. So just a heads up on that. There was also mention by either Hal or Bill last night so they had done some community survey stuff with regards to their branch clipping services that they offer. Anyways, the discussion was around perhaps if we could collaborate in some fashion between White City and the RM in terms of yard cleanup waste. So I don't know where that will go, but I just thought I'd raise it. The other thing, through another one of my gigs, I might actually have access to some scooter helmets that we could use for a contest promoting safety or something like that. So I can work with you, Shauna, on that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to need a motion to go in camera.
Just ask one more question. How many warmers are we going to need? Do we need, I've got the double one for the hamburgers and hot dogs. And then fried onions, I guess we'll need one for that then too, correct? And anything else?
A cold one.
Yeah, the cold, the coolers, I'll bring them. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything else before we go look for a motion to go in camera? Stephen.
Motion to go into camera.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Motion is carried.